Are you listening? Damn.
Yo, welcome to the AFC North Talk. We are here. Ace, Tony, myself, we're missing Quincy. Quincy will be back with us hopefully in the next show. Nothing bad, he's taking care of some things. But shout out to everybody that's joining the live stream. I know nobody in the AFC North Talk, their team is in the playoffs, right? It's only two teams.
There's only two teams left. Yeah, everybody's season ends this way, right? This is how it ends. It's very rare that your season ends in happiness.
Right. Only one team. Because even whoever the loser team, But you know what? Let's start right now just talking about, by the way, guys, so I don't know if you guys saw the promo when I threw it through Twitter. We are going to do a Q&A dissection. So if you want to have questions, go ahead and do the super chat. If not, we're going to just pick some topics that we have also. And this show will be the last one until March 2nd. So you will see through your YouTube channel or through your YouTube subscriptions that an announcement, right? We're going to take February off and then we'll come before free agency. We're working for a couple of things behind the scenes. So make sure that bell is hit for every time we come up, because if not, YouTube sometimes say like, they took a break. Let's not prioritize them. No, hit that bell so you can know when we come live. Anyway, let's talk about the two games and then the Super Bowl match. Ace, you saw these games. What do you thought? What's your thoughts about the Packers losing again, not making the Super Bowl, and the Bills failing like I thought they will?
I think for me, I really was looking forward to this game, and I'm sure Tom Brady was looking forward to this game because there's always been the comparisons between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, and what better to really have them duke it out than on this stage. I mean, both teams were really good this season. Both teams could have gone to the Super Bowl. So it was good to see those two guys meet. And in the first half, Brady was on fire, but it just was the complete opposite in the second half because he had some careless interceptions there. And from the Packers' point of view, they started to get things going, and you knew that eventually this game was going to get going. And I think that this one, honestly, from a viewing perspective, from my viewing perspective, it was easily the best of the two games from the weekend. But I think it lived up to the hype. Now, there were obviously some chippy calls late in the game, which were controversial, but after they were kind of letting them play. And obviously I understand both sides of that. But I think I didn't feel cheated or anything. I think that we got a good game. I think that both guys came out swinging. I think that, we saw guys deliver. And I think that the right team is going to the AFC, or from the NFC side to the Super Bowl. In terms of the Bills game and the Chiefs game, I kind of figured that the Chiefs were going to win that. I mean, it's hard to beat the Chiefs, right? There's only so many things that you can do. And if you don't take advantage of when you have these leads on this team and you're taking field goals, eventually they're just going to catch you, and you're just not going to be able to guard Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes. And I mean, that's just what it is when it comes to the Chiefs. So what I kind of expected from that game, I saw something where apparently someone on ESPN said that the Bills had the quarterback advantage. I don't know why they would do that.
Show. Yeah, that was on their pregame show. They had a graphic. It was like best quarterback, Josh Allen.
I was like, okay, all right,
maybe not. Maybe not.
I've kind of noticed it from afar just with Mahomes. Like ever since he felt like he was kind of slighted last year, and I don't feel like he was slighted. I feel like LJ was MVP, but he took exception to that last year, and it's just like, why would you poke the bear? Like, why would you even throw a graphic out like that? I almost feel like they did that on purpose. But Mahomes still has a chip on his shoulder, which is hard to believe because obviously these guys just won the Super Bowl last year, but he's got some points to prove. So I thought that was crazy to see that. But this is the matchup. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I said it here, but this is what I kind of predicted would be the Super Bowl, especially when Tampa was loading up. It's like you already know the Chiefs are going back, and then it's like what team out of the NFC has a chance to meet them there. And I think this is what we kind of expected. So I'm looking forward to a good Super Bowl.
It's going to be a great Super Bowl, isn't it? Because you got the young Mahomes, the start of his what looks like it's going to be a dynasty, and this is second in a row, third championship game in a row. And in fact, every year that he's been the starting quarterback for the Chiefs, they've at least made it to the championship game. They've had a home championship game in all three of his.
It should have been the Patriots. They
were a D4. What was it? D4 to win offsides, right? Yeah, they were D4 offsides away from winning that football game as well. So. It's going to be a great Brady versus Mahomes, because again, it's like here are two guys you just shouldn't bet against in these situations, right? Don't bet against Mahomes ever, and don't bet against Brady, especially in these big games like this. I guess unless Eli Manning or Nick Foles is starting, and they're not, so they should be okay here. As far as the super chat we got from the Trib, by the way, thank you Trib for the super chat, $2 here. He says showed talent in both games, teams win. I will say, yes, I do think the better teams won, right? The better overall talent won. I think, clearly the Bucs had an advantage on the defensive side of the ball. But I think coaching played a big.
You don't go on fourth down there.
Not yet, right? Not going for it on fourth down there. And then, in that Bills-Chiefs game, like I said, when you're kicking field goals and you're not aggressive against Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense, you will pay. Because, again, the Texans proved this last year. You can't get out to a big enough lead against this team, especially in the playoffs. And I thought, I picked both these games wrong. I had the Packers winning and I had the Bills winning. But, what the Chiefs have proved to me is you can just turn it on in the postseason, because this doesn't look like the same team that we saw. And a lot of Chiefs people will tell you the Chiefs coasted in the second half of the season. Maybe they did, because they look like a totally different team, especially in that game against the Bills. Mahomes was on fire. Kelsey and Hill were tremendous. And the Bills defense, which looked so good against the Ravens, looked helpless, absolutely helpless against Mahomes for the large portion of that game.
Couple of things here. Shout out to you, Trip. Thank you for donation. I predicted the Packers game wrong, and that game was not only there was basically two things. Three. First, the turnovers from Brady, and then Rodgers and the offense couldn't take advantage of that from the Packers.
Yep.
That was huge. Second, Desmond King. His backers are probably packed. He's out of
Desmond King. Desmond King is good. Kevin King is bad. Yeah. Don't want to slight Desmond King. We don't want to pull an Allen Robinson.
He played good for the Titans. Anyway, and then third, coaching. It doesn't make any sense. You still need a effing touchdown. Even with that field goal. Now the touchdown will be for winning. Yes, but you might not get the ball back. So why not go for it? I don't understand. It just baffles my mind. I was just stupid. I was like, huh?
Now, I agree with you on that. Although they have these fourth down bots now, right? Which will they use all the analytics and stuff to tell you what are the percentage chance of you getting it again, and should you kick. All the bots said go for it, but they weren't by a wide margin. It was by 3%. It gives you a 3% advantage to go for it here versus kicking a field goal. It was actually strange how kicking the field goal was actually not as terrible a decision as I agree with you, Sonny. It felt like watching the game. What are you doing kicking a field goal here and giving the ball back to Brady? You think Kevin King's going to stop Godwin or Evans and on the play it was Tyler Johnson who he got the PI call from, but it just didn't feel like they were going to get stopped.
And Devin White held Adams in the play before, right? And that was their first and goal from the 4. So that's why it surprised me that they called the other pass interference. That was shocking. Now, if I talk about the Bills game for a moment, the Bills game.
Are you gonna take your victory lap?
No. I can care less that they beat us. That for me is inconsequential. But the big thing that I pull from that game, look, they basically play zone defense, right? And the only thing that will add here from the Ravens side, and that's what they did for the Ravens. And that's why the Ravens couldn't break big runs. But if you go back, we were running everybody from Lamar and both running backs, all three were running about 4 yards a clip, right? So that's what a zone defense does. It will limit the big plays. But the problem is the Chiefs are not necessarily a running team. They're a passing team. And when you have zone defense, if you don't put pressure on the quarterback, what can the quarterback do? They can, especially Patrick Mahomes, they can pick that zone apart. All those receivers wide open. wide open. It wasn't like, oh, it was a great throw, tight coverage. It wasn't like Mahomes was just threading that needle. No, those were wide open because the zone defense against Patrick Mahomes. The only way that can work is you allow them to move all the ball all the way to the 20, right, to the red zone, and then you're hoping to get them to field goals. Josh Allen, and I said this yesterday with Tony. For everybody that's been praising Josh Allen had 3 mediocre playoff games.
I don't even know that I would call them mediocre. I would call the Ravens game outright bad, and I would say that the Chiefs game was closer to bad than it was average. Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall because Colts obviously should have won that game. Again, another coaching stupidity in that game. And then against the Ravens, obviously a pick six changed that game, but it wasn't like Josh Allen outplayed Lamar by far. He didn't have a pick like Lamar did. And then not yesterday, but against the Chiefs were just dominating them, right? We're not talking about the Chiefs as this power defense, right? And all Buffaloes were healthy. All the receivers were there. The O-line was there. Obviously, the running back Moss was not there, but it's not like Moss has been killing it throughout the years. He's okay.
Yeah.
So I was not surprised the Chiefs won. I was surprised the Tampa Bay. That was my surprise. I thought the Packers were going to win that game, but not the Chiefs. They were gonna roll. All right, Tony.
I was going to say that the Chiefs defense does have some talent on it. I think we should give some credit. Like, Chris Jones came to play.
Oh, they do.
Chris Jones, definitely.
Yeah. Tyrann Mathieu's very good. The kid they have on the outside, I think his name is Ladarius
Sneed. Right? Is good. Like, I've been telling people, I think I was talking about Sneed, I think, in that early matchup against the Ravens. I was like, Sneed is, I think a lot of people are asleep on him.
Definitely. Hibernating.
They don't have any corners.
My God, no one talks about him.
Yeah, he's good. That kid is good.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then, Juan Thornhill is also very, very good. And I was high on him coming out of college, and he's turned into a real player as well. So while I agree with you, Sonny, like they don't have a top defense, they haven't put it all together yet. Again, this is the time when you need to, right? They weren't a great defense for 16 games, but so far in the playoffs, like, they did what they needed to do at the end of that game. They got the big stop against the Browns at the end of that game. And then in this game, I mean, they shut down Josh Allen, and Josh Allen just wasn't playing good football.
And they're better than they were in the past. Like, I think if you look at the Chiefs defense from like years past, like they're actually better than that, but they're just good enough to do what they need to do. Like you said, they have like a couple of good players at key positions, and that gets them by, and they make plays when it matters, especially when you talk about Chris Jones. We're not gonna say that Chris Jones is bad. Like, Chris Jones is one of the top defensive linemen in the NFL. He just happens to play on a team that the focus is offense. But it's almost kind of like when you had Peyton Manning back in the day with the Colts, where they had Freeney and Mathis and Bob Sanders. Like, the defense isn't great, but it's good enough to make plays to get it back to that explosive offense.
They'll make the plays at the right time. Yeah, exactly.
I'll let Ace read this one from Josh.
So appreciate the super chat, Josh. Josh, you said if you weren't rocking it with us when we were 4-11-1, don't be rocking with us when we're 7-9. Who dey? Yes, sir.
Him to put a little bit of the record, at least at the beginning, right?
Yeah, I kind of understand why he's going from that. Like, if you already looked at the 2021 opponents for the Bengals, like if you were to say like 10-6, that would be a bit much, just because there are some really good, talented quarterbacks that they're going to be facing next year. This team is picking in the top 5 for a reason, so we can't jump out there and say 11-5. After what we've seen. And then obviously you got to see how Joe Burrow is going to bounce back. But I know we got some other items to talk about and touch on from that perspective.
So the next thing that I want to talk is Super Bowl prediction. Look, the only reason that I think this line is as close as it is, and I for some reason I become the lineman guy here, but losing the left tackle.
You've always been that, not for some reason. That is your shtick. You are 100%.
I gotta hear this, Sonny, because before you say that, you do know that majority of the Kansas City linemen are out of this game. Like the starting line.
Oh, that's where he's going. That's where he's going. Yeah, that's where he's going.
Let's get it. Going from the left tackle throughout, the line of Kansas City is shred, right? It's just a shell of what they started the season. They lost their left tackle. He's pretty good. I think he's the top left tackle. I'm not saying top 5. Fisher is a very solid, good player. And the D line from the Bucs is their forte. Vita Vea, I think he's an animal in the middle. I think he's great. Obviously, they have Burnett. They have JPP. They have Sue. So they have a lot of good big boys there. This is why I have to give a shot to Tampa Bay. Because the way, as I was saying earlier, you can play zone defense against the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes sometimes he throws some risky passes. But if you cannot pressure him, then he finds the wide open guy, right? Because they have great receivers. But I don't know. I think Tampa can definitely pressure KC. And if they do, I have to give them a shot. Because that's how San Francisco was leading throughout the Super Bowl, right? The problem was, they had Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's the formula. If you can pressure Mahomes, you can get him out of the comfort zone. He will still make plays here and there, but it will not be 30-point game, right? You can slow it down. And then you have Brady on the other side, so he can take advantage. That offense is fairly good. Man, it's been hard for me to predict. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the better team. If they had a good O-line, I think Chiefs 100% beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This O-line being what it is, also a home game for Tampa, I have to give them a shot. I think the Chiefs by 2 points. I don't know.
I'm going with the Buccaneers, and I'm going to tell you why. The one thing that you brought up was very good. Even though these guys that are going to be starting there may not be the starters, they are still solid. Mahomes, I do think, is actually pretty good against the blitz. I mean, Mahomes is going to Mahomes, right? Like, this is an arms race. It's Tyreek Hill. It's Travis Kelce. I'm not sure if they're going to bring back if Sammy Watkins will be in this game or not. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell was hurt last game. I don't know if he's there. Even if he's there, he's not what we expect from Le'Veon Bell. He's kind of looking like a shell of himself. I like Tampa for a lot of reasons in this game. The first one, I never bet against Tom Brady. Pat Mahomes definitely right now in this moment is definitely better than him, but Tom Brady is cerebral. He's going to have a different thing that he's bringing into this game. The other thing is this. Like I said, it's an arms race. Yes, you have Kelce and Hill, but when you look at that other offense over there, who don't they have? They have Mike Evans. They've got you talk about Chris Godwin, who just went off. AB should be playing in that game. You talk about the running back position, Leonard Fournette. You also talk about my guy, Ronald Jones, who I've liked since he's come out of USC. They got all of these guys, Cameron Brate. You almost forget that they have him. And then they got Rob Gronkowski. It's almost to the point where you forget guys that they have on this team. And then you also talk about the offensive line, which is much improved. And then you also look at the defense. I love their defense. Like, they have a great front seven, in my opinion, probably one of the best in the league. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Shaq Barrett. You're talking about JPP. You're talking about Vita Vea. You're talking about Ndamukong Suh. You're talking about Devin White. You're talking about Levante David. These aren't scrubs. And then when you look at the safety position, you talk about Whitehead. I don't know if Antoine Winfield Jr. will be in this game. It would be amazing if he is. But even if not, they have Mike Edwards. So if there was a team to have, which I don't think there's anyone that can guard Travis Kelce, don't get me wrong. But if there was a team that could do their best effort to contain him, I think this is the team. When you look at the linebacker position, you look at the safety position, they're not going to stop him. You just have to slow him down. You can't have the 10-catch, 100-yard game from him because you're going to get destroyed. And then you look at the corners, and Sean Murphy Bunting, I wasn't sold on. I was honestly, a couple drafts ago, I couldn't believe that they didn't take Greedy Williams when they were at that spot. They picked him over Greedy. But when you look at Jamal Dean, you look at Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis is a guy that shut down Mike Thomas in that playoff game. So he's not a slouch. He's not going to stop Tyreek Hill, but you at least have three solid corners that can do that. And I think when you get the ball back to this offense, it's going to be hard to stop this Tampa offense as well. And they are an offense where if Tom Brady can kind of get up and keep going, they're going to keep it going. And so I think that is going to be a great matchup. But I'm picking the Bucs in this. And then here's the other big factor. It's in Tampa. Like, the game is in Tampa. So they have the home field advantage when it comes to that. But, Andy Reid is a tremendous coach. But Bruce Arians is also a solid coach. He's nowhere near Andy Reid level, but he's not some Joe Schmo that just has never been there, has never coached in the Super Bowl before or anything like that. But I think that the coaching favors the Chiefs. I think Mahomes obviously favors them, but I think that offense, those offenses, since they have so many weapons, they're both going to be coming when it comes time. And I think for Brady, this is a huge, huge feat. Like, think about the GOAT conversation, right? It revolves around Tom Brady, it revolves around Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. At one point, it revolved around also Drew Brees, right? So what would it like? How can you really break this guy's resume down for him to go to Tampa without Bill Belichick, who everyone said it was his system? We're clearly seeing that wasn't the case. Not only do that, take out Drew Brees, take out Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. Like, that is, for him, he could honestly retire with that. And there wouldn't really be like, what kind of case would you build against him for like the GOAT case? Like, there wouldn't be any really chinks in that armor outside of obviously some of the off-field stuff that he's done, the scandals and stuff like that. He's not with the Patriots when he's doing this, though. So if he were able to make this accomplishment, it's almost like LeBron when he beat the 72-10 Warriors, or 72-9 Warriors, or 73-9. My math's off. But that's like the kind of chip that this brings to the table. And I just can't bet against Tom Brady in that. So for me, I'm going with the Bucs.
Before you go, Tony, let me go super chat. And before the super chat, I just cannot believe Ace disrespected Heineke like that. Not to mention Heineke. Anyway, Bucs won.
Heineke was maybe, well, no, Aaron Rodgers played well, but Heineke was probably the second best quarterback he played in these playoffs.
That is true. Bucs don't have it's for the trade. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the donation. Bucs don't have the corners to hold the Chiefs receivers, and the Chiefs have the D line to at least match the Bucs O line. 34-24 Chiefs. Okay, Tony, go ahead, man.
Well, there's one bet I'm putting on this game that I'm 100% certain of. It is not a money line. It is not, either of these teams. It is the over. Bet the over in this game. I believe the over is 57. It's going over 57. These two teams are going to score. I mean, that's what's going to happen in this game. These two teams are going to put up points. Now, who's going to win the game? Look, I want to say this about Tom Brady, because Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. There's no doubt. He's better than Marino, better than Montana, better than Manning, better than anyone you want to put in the conversation. What he's done to do it this many years in a row, to continue to do it, is fantastic, right? He is definitely the greatest of all time. But this particular run does kind of bother me a little bit in that he's getting all this praise, right? I saw someone tweet out like, Tom Brady just randomly chose a team and took them to the Super Bowl, right? Okay. No. Right. Well, it's the idea that, like, wherever Tom Brady goes, success follows. And
it was like Manning in the Broncos, right?
This is a lot like Manning and the Broncos because, by the way, Tom Brady, oh, man, he retired Drew Brees. No, Drew Brees retired Drew Brees. Drew Brees threw 4 picks in that game. Tom Brady didn't pick any of those off. Drew Brees threw those 4 interceptions. And then in this football game, okay, are we not going to talk about the fact that the Packers defense just decided to run cover 3 on 4th and 2 with like 6 seconds to go in the second half and left Scotty Miller on one-on-one on the outside with Kevin King, who couldn't cover anybody all day? Right? That's not Tom Brady's greatness. And then we're going to talk about the fact that Tom Brady threw 3 bad interceptions in the second half of that game and kind of let the Packers kept getting back into it. Now, I agree, the defense for the Bucs came up huge and did not give up points. But none of that had to do with, like, Tom Brady's great, and I'm not going to take away his greatness. But I do think this run is maybe a little bit more about what the Bucs defense is doing right now and a little less about what that Bucs offense is doing. And for the Super Bowl, that's why I'm going to pick. I'll pick the Chiefs in this game. I'm not 100% confident because the Chiefs do this thing where they come out ice cold. Right? They've done this against the Titans last year. They did it against the Texans last year. They did it against the Niners last year. They did it against the Bills this week. Yeah, I mean, if they keep doing that and they let Brady and them get a little bit of a lead here, well, then I'm not so sure that Mahomes is going to be able to do this again. So I'll take Mahomes. I think they have that. Look, I think Mahomes right now is the better player than Tom Brady. I agree Tom Brady has some weapons, but Tom Brady's offense, right? The offense that they run should not be capable of the offensive output that they get. They ran the ball on first down, but I don't even know how many times. It was like 90% of the time on Sunday. They ran the ball on first down for like 2 yards. Wasted plays, just wasted play after wasted play after wasted play. They would set themselves up in like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and they converted at a high clip, and that's why they were able to move the ball. I think their first touchdown in the game came on like a 3rd and 7, just a beautiful ball that Brady threw. I don't know that that's going to be consistent though going into the Super Bowl. So they're going to have to change things offensively. They're going to have to throw in earlier downs, expose Brady in that way. But I think this is a great matchup. I think Mahomes versus Brady is the Super Bowl that I think we definitely deserve because you got the greatest of all time against the one quarterback right now who's in the league who you could say maybe he overtakes Brady, based on the way he started his career.
Again, here I had to correct Tony. Disrespecting Playoff Lenny. Playoff Lenny is a serious.
Yeah, Playoff Lenny. Listen, Playoff Lenny is hilarious. I'm here for it. Here's the thing, though. Leonard Fournette, he did have that one good run. That was kind of it.
Hey. Disrespect Playoff Lenny. Now,
I'm not trying to disrespect him. He had a great run. He had a great run.
So I don't know the over at 57. Last year's Super Bowl was 31-20. And the Chiefs was as explosive as this year, right? Offensively. And yes, you would say San Francisco D-line.
Yeah, that defense is better than the Bucs, though. They're better than the Bucs.
But let's wait for a moment. The D-line is way better. The defense is better. The D-line is definitely better than the Bucs, although the Bucs will be up there. But the difference is the O-line that the KC is presenting is way less than the O-line that they presented against that team. So although this D-line is not as good as that San Francisco D-line, yeah, that O-line, man. Again, I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm not even trying to get too cute here. I'm picking the Chiefs.
Well, you have to give credit.
Go ahead.
Andy Reid for switching up the game plan, because I don't know if you've seen this, but Mahomes had the lowest average depth of target this week of his career. He threw the ball in the air average of 6 yards, and he got rid of the ball really quick, 2.4 seconds to get rid of the football this week. They know their offensive line is not going to hold up, and they're switching the offense around it. Again, it's why Andy Reid, is such a good coach. So
the other thing that I meant to bring up too is about this, and we're talking about the Tampa defense was good. You have to remember why the Tampa defense was good, because 2 years ago, or season before this, they hired Todd Bowles as the defensive coordinator. Yeah. I love Todd Bowles. I can't wait to see what he's going to have for his game plan for this game. I think that he's a huge factor in that as well.
Yeah, he's going to parlay this into another head coaching job, no doubt about it. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, you're right. He's doing a fantastic job there.
Well, I'm shocked that BNME didn't get any head coaching jobs.
Well, he may get the Houston job still.
I think at this point, the thing is, how old is Andy Reid? When is he gonna ride off to the sunset? I just don't.
You think I don't know.
If you're Andy Reid, though, when you just play out the whole Mahomes thing, you can't retire in the middle of Mahomes' career.
You cannot live Mahomes. Mahomes might be there for 20 years.
Bill Belichick is still out here at 68.
Wait it out.
Here at 69. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Andy Reid doesn't seem I don't know. I think Andy Reid has maybe 10 years. I think, again, I don't think Benjamin can afford that. Now, Benjamin can afford saying to Houston, no, get the fuck off. I don't want none of this. I
don't think anybody wants that job at this point. You're stepping into a job where you're going to have to trade Deshaun Watson. Essentially, it's just a line has been drawn in the sand. Now, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, and people are probably going to say Ace is crazy for saying this. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for them to move on from Deshaun Watson, because if that nets you, let's just say in a perfect world, the Jets' number 2 pick, you've got that contract off of the books. There's plenty of guys at the quarterback position who apparently don't know where they're going to be next year and are some quality guys. So if you were able to, let's just say Stafford or something, for lack of a better situation, obviously you could pick whoever you wanted. But let's say you got Stafford or Darnold and something like that, and you got some draft capital back where you're going to get probably multiple first rounders for Deshaun Watson. You do it. Do what you got to do. You got to really do a rebuild there. This team with Deshaun Watson only won how many games? They did worse than the Bengals, and we had Ryan Finley playing for a while. So for them, the time is now. You don't want to just give them away for peanuts, but you definitely want to get a haul for someone like Deshaun Watson. And I think that it would be a historic haul if you're able to trade him based on what we've seen in recent trades for quarterbacks.
Yeah. The Watson thing is interesting. You're going to have to trade so many first round picks or Pro Bowl caliber players to get him. And it's going to have, and again, I don't think a team outside of the top 15 is even going to be in the running. Because again, the Texans are going to want a top pick in this draft to guarantee that first round draft capital. Because I hear Steeler fans talking about they should go get Deshaun Watson. And I joke about it, but it's completely unrealistic. Look, the Steelers are going to pick 24th in the draft. If Miami offered the 3rd pick in the draft, that's already 2 first round picks better, because it would take 2 first round picks for the Steelers to move up to get the 3rd pick in the draft. So they're already behind
there. To get him, literally, guys, I think it has to be like 5 first-round picks. Like,
or it's like Minka and Watt or something like, you know what I mean? Like it would have to be like
and Watt and a couple first rounders. Like it's like everything. It's like everything.
I don't think they're looking for players, right? I think they're just saying, because if they trade Watson, what is the point? Like literally, if they trade Watson,
quarterback.
If they trade Watson, might as well say, Tunsil, thank you for the cup of tea. You also go out, right? JJ Watt, here's a parting thought. And you
might Watt's going for salary cap reasons, yeah.
Well, but not only that. Think about this. Watson and Tunsil become super attractive because they have to eat a portion of their salaries, right? So, for example, the Bengals, right? The Bengals are looking for a left tackle. Tunsil is getting paid enormous. He's the second highest paid left tackle. But if you trade him, his salary cap, they're eating all the bonuses. So that cap hit is shrunk, right? So now that's attractive. So now you can get their Bengals this year's 4th or whatever it is, 5th round pick, and maybe next year's 1st round pick, right? And what I'm saying is it becomes attractive to. So if they're going to trade Watson, they just need to blow it out. Tunsil, we don't need Tunsil here. We don't need JJ Watt. Just get rid of.
I don't know if I agree with that though. Because here's my thing though. I would agree with that if they would get back like the 20th pick, right? A pick where they can't get a quarterback. But if you can parlay this, like let's say you get Miami's 3rd pick, well then you're just going to take, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. You're going to roll right into what you think is your next quarterback.
Right. I'm not going Fields, man. He might.
But what I'm saying is, forget the names.
Right? Trey Lance. You can take Trey Lance.
They're going to get a quarterback at 3 that they believe in, and then they're just going to roll this into the next.
That's my point. I don't know if you had that quarterback to believe in. Now, what they can do, which could be smart, is they trade Watson for a bunch of picks, right? Let's say they trade him with Miami, right? In theory, they could get Tua, but now they can also call, hey, Lions, I'll give you a 2nd round pick. If they want to be relevant, I'll give you a 2nd round pick for Stafford. Because they're gonna get so many.
Matt Ryan could be there. Like, there's a lot.
Hey, how about Jared Goff?
There's a lot of options. Like if I'm a GM, I'm taking it because Deshaun Watson has made it known, right? He doesn't want to play here. This is a huge bargaining chip for them, and I think that they need to take advantage of it and kind of recoup some of the mess that Bill O'Brien kind of cost them over the years.
Absolutely.
But who are these?
Wait for them if they do believe in one of these 3 quarterbacks, right? If they think that all 3 of these quarterbacks are like guaranteed hits, Wilson, Lawrence, and Fields, and throw Lance in there too, right? Because maybe they think Lance is better than Fields. Then they should make the deal with. Then you should make the deal with Miami because like you said, they don't have a lot of capital coming up, right? They've traded this all away now to Miami and to other places. So yeah, you get some of that back by getting rid of Watson, who doesn't want to be there, right? And then you parlay this into the next quarterback situation.
So the question is, who are these teams that could potentially trade for Watson? Miami is the one that people are rumoring, right? The Jets are.
Vegas has Miami. Vegas has, I think, it's the top. Then it's the Jets, and then that's when you kind of get into the other ones.
After that, it's going to be hard. You have to give up a ton. I think if I was a betting man, I think Watson starts for the Houston Texans next year.
I agree. I don't think he gets traded.
I don't think he gets traded. I'm not seeing it. I'm not buying it. I think he wants to. And also teams know that, we're going to offer maybe 2 first-round picks. But in reality, Watson is again, because the same thing. Watson just got paid. His salary probably is the salary is about $30 million, right? Mm-hmm. But for you, the team that gets him, the salary is going to be lesser. So it's even better, right? Because he just got signed. So money-wise, it's the same thing as Tunsil. It's the same. It's the reason why the Browns' contract with Odell Beckham Jr. is so nice for them. It's not fully guaranteed, right? Or I think they restructured it. So
it is guaranteed now, yeah.
Yeah, because they restructured. But my point is, when they got him, Odell was getting paid average salary in New York closer to 20. He gets to the Browns, it's $6 million less per year because all the bonuses that they gave him already. So, yeah, again, if I was a betting man, I think Watson stays. Although the only team that I don't think Miami would do it, to be honest. I don't think Miami would do it. I think Miami is more likely to say Stafford. I think
Miami would do it. I think Miami would do it.
This is why. I think Miami knows that they're close,
But if they trade Watson, they will give us some pieces away that they might need. Meaning,
you got a short window, and they're in that window
because Tua is a powerful chip. Like whether you like Tua or not, he was just drafted in the top 5. So like you could say Tua, that number 3 pick, someone else throw him in with Watson. I think that gives them the best team in the AFC East. I think easily it gives them the best team in the AFC.
Tua this year's 3rd and next year's 1st, and maybe another 1st or another 2nd down the line. Then they keep remember, they would keep Houston's 1st. They'd still have a 1st-round pick this year. They would basically have all their picks, right? They would just lose the 3rd pick in the draft.
Right.
Or no, they would keep their own pick. Sorry, they would trade Houston their 3rd pick back.
You got to remember they benched Tua in the game, so I don't think that Flores and them are like as high on Tua.
I agree with that.
And they were
if they had Herbert or something like that.
Weren't they 10-6 this year, or 9-7, something like that? I mean, they were like right there in the playoff.
They were 10-6. This is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they got to do it. They got
to do it, and most of that was done by Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what you have to remember too. Right. Most of that was the games were won by him. He's going to be going next year. It's all on Tua, and I think we saw obviously it's just this guy's first year, but it's Deshaun Watson. You know what you have in Deshaun Watson. You're immediately a player with Deshaun Watson. The Patriots right now are not where they were. The Bills have ascended. In order for you to compete with the Bills, you got to get Watson.
Wait, hold on. I got a question for you, Ace. Who would you take to win the AFC East next year if they got Watson? Miami or Buffalo?
Miami. I'm taking Miami
too. I think I would take Miami.
Yeah, I might too, but hear me out. This is what I'm saying. I think for them, if they can get a guy, yes, Watson will be the best play. But Watson is also very expensive. Money-wise, their cap, I went back, their cap situation is not the greatest. Miami, it's okay. I think a guy like Stafford might work there better because now you still have the 3rd-round pick, right? You still can get
better than Watson?
Better than Deshaun Watson, though. He's 25 years old, man.
Wait. I'm not saying that he is better than Watson. I'm saying it's the better play because you can build more for your team. In the 3rd-round pick, with the 3rd overall, you can get Panay, right? Yeah. If you want to. So now you have the left tackle. Because the problem with Watson is it's a problem that has been with him for a while. He has the Big Ben Roethlisberger disease. He holds the ball forever. Back-to-back years, if you go check the Ravens stats, the game that we sacked the most, the quarterback we sacked the most, check Ben Watson. Not Ben Watson.
4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I can't pass on that.
I can't pass on that. If I'm the Dolphins, no way.
It's all about the price. Yes, you might get the price, the great quarterback. I'm just saying, I think I might go with more pieces around, right? Because this team is pretty good.
Sonny, I'm going to ask you this right now.
Go ahead.
So are you not going to sign Lamar Jackson? So you're just not, because you're going to have to pay him and you're going to have to lose pieces. So you're just not going to take him?
I am, but Ace, you're
exactly.
How many 1st-round picks would it take to get Lamar Jackson?
And that is the big question. That's the problem.
Would you trade Lamar Jackson if you got enough 1st-round picks?
No.
If you were Eric DaCosta?
I don't think so right now because who you
so what you're saying is that quarterbacks are that valuable that you have to have one. That's why the Dolphins.
But the thing is, look. My thing is with Miami specifically, right? Now, can you say will a team, let's say the Jets, is willing to give you 5 1st-round picks, and then you can take your 2nd and maybe get a Stafford, right? And then you can stack your team all around Stafford. That is enticing, though, right? That is the big question.
You have to pay for Stafford, though, right? Stafford's not cheap.
Where do you put Stafford? Is Stafford like a top 20 quarterback to you?
Yeah.
Where is Stafford?
Top 20? I
put him top 20.
Come on, man. But look,
it's like borderline.
Detroit has nothing. Tell me their players right now. Tell me who their players. Can you name
Kenny Galladay? Kenny Galladay is pretty good. Okay. And they had a kid from Georgia, Swift.
Oh my God, Swift, the one.
I mean, but my thing is Stafford is still expensive. Like you're not saving. Like I'm getting better value for my money.
9.5 will be his cap hit, right? I'm not saying
where are you reading that at? Because I'm saying 33 million.
He has a roster bonus coming too. You have to give him the roster bonus.
He's got 33 million, and he's got his cap hit next year is 26 million.
Yeah, but the prorated bonus comes off, but the roster bonus stays.
His base salary is 9.5. His roster bonus might be 1.5, so that might be 11. right?
Yeah,
That's
what I remember. It's 11 or 12. Yeah.
Matty Ice, whatever. It will be way cheaper. My point is, you keep.
Why are you so cheap? You don't want to cheap out on a quarterback. You want the good one.
They just hit the
Would you rather
reset
have?
button.
Hold on. Would you rather have Mahomes for $50 million, okay, or Stafford for $5 million?
Not only the money. I'm not even saying.
I would rather have Mahomes for 100.
Look, I'm not even saying Watson for 30. My point is the other assets. It's not only that. It's the rest of the assets. Okay, let me go to super chats.
I think you are speaking though. Like this is very a Raven. This is a very Raven thing to say though, right? Because this is the argument, right? This is the argument, which is just because you have the quarterback, if you don't have the pieces around him, it's not going to matter. I get it.
I'm not even saying on offense. I'm also saying defense. Now they have a defense.
The Dolphins defense is legit.
Yes.
Legit.
So here from 59 Big Walt. Shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. How about Watson to New Orleans? New Orleans doesn't have.
New
Orleans doesn't have money. They're like broke right now.
No. They are literally homeless when it comes to the salary cap at this point. It is insane. I don't know how they managed to get this far over the cap, but they did it. The fact that they were able to work Kamara under the cap, given where they are, just proves like when people say like the salary cap isn't real, like New Orleans is proof. The salary cap is not real because they were like 20 million over the cap last year. They worked their way underneath and then still signed Kamara to a new deal.
Well, think about this.
They're gonna make 120.
Taking like a second mortgage out for this stadium to like pay these guys.
Think about this. One of the things, I don't know how they work. One of the things that they did was they prorated Drew Brees' salary that even if he left, right, he retired. Like the contract ended. But the next, I don't even know how this worked. The contract ended, but there was 21 mil there setting from Drew Brees. How does that work? I don't know. I'm not saying for this year.
Yeah, I think it's called void years. And I was reading about this the other day. It's a way I was reading because the Steelers may do this with Ben. Yeah, where you can put the contract into a year that's not real, but you just spread the money out. I don't get it either.
I didn't know that was a thing. Anyway, thank you for Asmodeus here for the donation. If you give me a first round for a tech gate, maybe that's what I said. Maybe 5 years of first round pick. Maybe.
I'm assuming he means about Lamar.
Yeah. The thing is also the market on quarterbacks right now. There is a lot out there, right? Like the Dolphins, legitimate. Let's say Watson's price is ridiculous. They have options. Matty Ice, right? They have options with
Still got to pay a first round pick for
Stafford. For Matty, no, I don't think Matty Ice takes a first.
Matty Ice is getting a first.
No, they're getting all these quarterbacks.
They're getting first round picks.
Dude, what I heard for Stafford is that
Nick Foles went for a second round pick. Didn't he?
I think a second is.
I thought a second for Stafford too, but it's a first and a second for Stafford is the market.
Just a first and a second. Stafford is way better than Nick Foles. Like, let's think about that. Nick Foles was complete trash, and he went for a second round pick.
Kind of stupid too. But look, they still have Dak Prescott out there. I don't know if the Cowboys will sign him or not. Right, you can sign him.
The cheapest. You can get it for 2 first round picks, right? That's what it takes to get a franchise tag.
Yeah. Let's see if they franchise him, right? Because franchise him will be what, almost 40 mil.
But you got to pay him after that injury. Like Deshaun Watson, you know what he is. Like what the Dolphins don't want to do is what they did with Dante Culpepper and pass on Drew Brees or something and sign Dante Culpepper for that, and then that just be like one of the worst mistakes in franchise history. And then you got to think about it too. This is a team that hasn't had a marketing, like a great quarterback since Dan Marino. Like they had Cleo Lemon at points. Like if you can get Deshaun Watson for their franchise, you got to do it. Like Stafford is cool. I don't think Stafford puts you over Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen at this point is better than Matthew Stafford. Like if they're going against each other in a game, I think the edge goes to Josh Allen, which I mean, Josh Allen just got, according to ESPN, is better than Pat Mahomes. But I think Watson for them, if they can get him, best move for them to make. I don't think it makes sense for the Jets though. Like the Jets, I could see them as a team that if you go all in on Watson, probably not the best thing because you kind of need to build that team up around him. You don't have a really great team in general there with the Jets. I mean, I could see them doing it because it's a great quarterback, but I think it makes more sense for Miami.
Okay, so let me also say this.
Go ahead.
Talking about Watson, I'm checking the numbers here. And trading Watson will cost, this is why I don't think this happens. Trading Watson costs 51.2 extra on the salary cap. So his cap number right now, this coming year is 15.9.
Right.
If you trade him, the cap number becomes 67.14.
But you got to do it.
But
They'll
it
do it
doesn't
after
have to. I mean, there's all kind of things that
they'll
come
do it after
down.
June 1st to spread it out over 2 years.
Currently, they're 18 million over the
guys can give up cap to get traded. Like it happened with Carlos Dunlap. Carlos Dunlap gave the Bengals back like $5 million for the trade to go through. So Watson, if he really does want to go there, he could say, all right, unguaranteed $10 million for this year. Like if they want to.
Yeah, the roster bonuses or something.
He will have to give money back. It's not unguaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't want to be there. You don't want to be here. Give us the money back so you can go.
Yeah, right. Because he has a no trade clause, so he is in control of that situation.
He's in control of it, right?
And it would likely be a post June 1st trade so that he could spread the cap over 2 years.
Okay, so the Trip says here, shout out to him. Thank you for the donation. By the way, guys, we're getting near the hour, so if you want any questions, answers, do the super chat here.
We got you real quick.
Yeah,
we have hit exactly 0 topics from the list today.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's why we called it a Q&A episode.
Yes, that's exactly. And remember, guys, we're gonna take the month of February off after this show. Stafford easily top 10. You swap
20,
him and
20.
top 20. You swap him and Big Ben, and I think y'all will have more than 11 wins. I get you, Sonny, but Miami has enough picks for him. So yeah, my point is, it's not that they don't have enough picks. Is look, you bring a veteran quarterback, Matty Ice. Again, it's not Stafford. I just said Stafford. Put another veteran quarterback. I don't care.
And
who has a higher ceiling? Who has a higher ceiling than Deshaun Watson?
I'm just saying win now. I think they have
right now. Mahomes is the only one.
And he's 25. Like you're gonna be competing for like 10 years.
Again, my point is now you can with that third pick, you might fix your left tackle, and you still might have the other first round pick to get a receiver, and you might have enough money to sign another receiver. And I
think it's that you're worried about his line, which I agree with. But what me and Tony are telling you is they still have another first round draft pick in a draft filled with tackles and linemen. So that in theory they could still take another.
They won't have another first round pick because if Houston is trading to Miami, I'm Houston. I have shit now. Give me those 2 first round picks and next year's first round pick for Watson.
Well, you're getting 2 though. You're getting 2 in that deal too. So you're getting a first round pick in Tua. You're getting your third pick, but you're getting your third pick, and you'll get next year's first, and then a first maybe after that.
I would prefer Tua because they can say like you benching for cripple fist magic. Here's Tua. Give me the other first round pick and let me pick the guy. Right.
You could say that, but you got a quarterback that doesn't want to play with you, and you won't have many offers anywhere else.
Right, and
you can waive the trade clause.
I don't think
Watson says I want to go to Miami, and that's the only way I'll waive my no trade clause. Then
but you can tell Miami. Well, that's fine. But you can, if you're Houston, you say, but Watson, the only way that Miami gets you is if they really want you. I need those 2 first round picks. I don't want.
Hold on. Actually, going back on this, now that I think about it. I'm actually maybe okay with your version of the deal because if I can trade both first round picks this year and a first rounder next year plus Tua, then I only lose first round picks in 2 seasons, right? Which means 2 seasons from now I get my first round picks back again. I think I might like that deal. I think I actually might like that deal. I think I might do it. I might do that deal.
My point is, what was the last quarterback that was a big trade one?
Never. Like this? Never. I've never
like this. We've never seen one like this. This kid is in his prime.
I know, but we've seen it to trade up to get a quarterback, right? Like,
I mean, for the Carson Palmer one back in 2005, they gave us 2 first round picks.
But think about it.
When Carson Palmer was traded the second time, right? Wasn't it a first and a third?
I think so. To the Cardinals.
To the Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was a first and a third. That's why the market for even these guys who are like really
Matthew Stafford is going to be a first round pick. It's not going to be
too harsh. Stafford's probably a top 15 quarterback. I would say he's probably right around 15th or 16th or 17th, somewhere around that range, not 20. But
he started retiring just because Phillip Rivers and all these guys.
Right, exactly. Like when Ben retired, Stafford goes up a notch. Yeah. But
I think Stafford's going to Indy. That's what my gut tells me. I mean, distance-wise, they have to move families and stuff. He's moving right over to Indiana. It's a good situation for him. I think that's the no-brainer. Is Indy gives their first round pick up for Stafford.
Okay, so this is where I was alluding to. So I went back and checked what was the Carson Wentz trade, right? Mm-hmm. He was a rookie, obviously, but it will be more than this.
That's for the position, though. That's to move up in the draft.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It will be more than this. They gave up their first round pick. They gave up their 8th I'm sorry, they gave up their first, they gave up the third, the fourth, and the following year's first, right? So they got up five picks. I think if you're Houston and Miami really wants Deshaun Watson, at minimum, you say I need your next 3 picks, meaning this year's first round picks, and the following year's first round, and I might still ask for a second round pick on top of that, right? That is roughly the price for Watson.
What did Jalen Ramsey get traded for? What did Jalen Ramsey get traded for?
I'll check that right now.
Because that thing you have to remember too is Houston has no first round picks.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like how about drafting the second round?
No, the best thing,
they don't have a second round pick, I don't think.
The best thing about this trade, if it happens between Miami and Houston, is that Miami is trading Houston's pick back to them. For their quarterback, who is, by the way, elite at this point. And definitely a top 5 young quarterback in the league, right? I mean, we're rating quarterbacks right now. Deshaun Watson is top 5 among the young quarterbacks.
Like if you could trade for, let's just take Deshaun Watson's name off of it. If you could trade for Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or any of these guys right now, you do it. You give up whatever.
Yeah, right.
Give up whatever to take them.
Okay, so just went back to Jalen Ramsey. 2 firsts, right? 2020 and 2021, and a 4th. This is why Watson will cost you at least 3 firsts and probably 4.
It's got to be 4 then. You only need one more first round pick
in there because Tua was drafted in the top 5. So like you gotta add that to it. It's not like
I understand the whole Tua thing, but if Houston doesn't like Tua, it doesn't matter, right? Like that
is a choice. Who's their quarterback?
Right. Yeah. If they think they can make Tua work, then it works out for you because then you get a quarterback and you don't, and you're
yes. If
you're getting all these pieces that you can add.
I agree. If they like,
and
Tua,
if you don't believe it, he's a guy. You take another one in this draft. But I'd take Tua. Like Tua's like I can't say that.
I'm not hating on Tua. I'm not hating on Tua. My whole point is like if you're Houston, you can say like, yeah, he was a top 5 pick. You bench him for a veteran guy because you didn't believe in him. He will be the equivalent. I'm saying if I was Houston, he would be the equivalent of a 4th round at this point because you bench him for a veteran. So don't say that he counts as another first round because that's a non-starter.
He does. He was that. So if Joe Burrow went out and got benched, you're gonna say that he's not a first. He wasn't a top 5 pick. Like I don't think that didn't they already come out and say that Tua started next year? Aren't they getting rid of Fitzpatrick? So
yeah, exactly.
So they've already come out and said Tua's the guy next year, so they can't go back and be like, oh, he's not the guy anymore, and this and that. So
although I wouldn't be surprised if they took a quarterback at 3. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by that, and then just trade Tua later.
My point is if Tua's out there in the market right now, let's say Tua's out there, do you think anybody will give a first round for Tua?
Depends on their position. I think if you're the Raiders, yeah. Like if you're gonna miss out on these guys that are in the top 5, like I'd rather pay for Tua with a later first round pick than how much it's gonna cost to come up there. Because this draft is loaded at the quarterback position in the top 5. You talk about Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and all of these guys. If one of those guys isn't gonna get to you, because I think a lot of them are gonna go in the top 10 to 15 range. I think at least 4 will probably be going by then. So like if you're not in that mix and you don't want to trade up to get one, yeah, I'm taking a flyer onto it. Like if I'm the Raiders, yeah. If I'm the Bears, yeah. Like I have Mitchell Trubisky as my quarterback. Yes, I'm taking a flyer onto it.
Let's do this. Steeler fans in chat right now. If Ben retires, would you be okay if the Steelers traded the 24th pick in the draft for Tua? Because I would be. I would be okay with that, right?
So it's funny.
Not asking. You wasn't asking, Pat.
While the Steelers answer here, now we're going to ask you another question. Will you trade the first round pick to Atlanta or to Miami for Tua or Matty Ice?
Not Matty Ice. He's too old.
Exactly. That's the part of it, Sonny. Like young, Tua is 22 years old.
Tua do you saw anything of Tua where you're like, oh my God, this dude is awesome.
It's his first year.
I know he was his first
What did we see from Josh Allen his first year?
My point is
you can't use Josh Allen because he literally had like the greatest transformation in quarterback history. I was looking at this from I'm saying from his first year to his 3rd year, it's like the greatest improvement in quarterbacking history.
I guess my point is that players aren't going to be defined by like their first year. Like,
true, I agree with
wait till like that 4th year to really know what a quarterback is going to be in this league.
It wasn't like Tua was horrible. He just what I mean, like he was. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't like Haskins has been
Haskins has been garbage. Like
right.
Garbage.
There's more. Haskins has more than one season, so we can say that he's garbage. I'm not saying Tua is done. My point is, do you think the Steelers have a small window, or you think if we get Tua, we have a window for years now?
Yeah, Tua. If you get a quarterback, have a quarterback, your window is for as long as you have that quarterback. Things like what happened with Houston,
and you don't have to pay him that much.
Where you go for like what happened in Houston with Deshaun Watson is so rare. Where you have a great quarterback who starts and is healthy the entire year, and you are like the third worst team in the league. Like that just doesn't happen. You look at the teams that are picking around where Houston would be picking. All of them need quarterbacks, right? Because all of them are just complete crap. And then there's Houston, who, oh, by the way, we have Deshaun Watson, who's probably a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. Certainly one of the best young quarterbacks in the league.
And threw for all of those yards without DeAndre Hopkins. Let's just throw that out there as well.
Right.
All of those yards while losing his number.
I'm not hating on Watson. It's just I'm playing the devil's advocate. What do you want more? Just trade all your assets, and at that point, you have to build through just free agency, right? To just, especially the line.
Because you can, but I mean, it depends on how your GM drafts. Like first round picks don't rule everything. Like if you hit on a guy that's in the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, it just depends on how you guys do drafting. Like it could be free agency.
Better. You have to be that much better in drafting.
Yeah, I just think this is a quarterback league. If you don't have one, if you're in a division with Pat Mahomes like the Dolphins are, I think you need to go and get Deshaun Watson. I don't see any other quarterback like that because you got to go against Pat Mahomes. You got to think about that. This is next decade that you're going to have to deal with Pat Mahomes. You got to get the best.
You got to get a guy. You got to have a guy.
You got to have a guy.
Yeah, I was talking about this. We're talking about this yesterday with on Locked On Steelers, actually today's episode, which is like if you're the Steelers right now, does Patrick Mahomes, right? Does the idea that Patrick Mahomes is in your conference, is going to be in your conference for the foreseeable future, play into the idea of like, do you even try? Because a lot of Steelers fans right now are thinking about Stafford, because I think Stafford's probably the most realistic from a cap and from a cost perspective, right? Could you go out and get, trade like the 24th pick for Stafford? He's only 32. But like, are you really going to win a Super Bowl with Stafford right now in the AFC? And does that factor into, your decision making here? Like, can I really win a Super Bowl with this guy, right? With just an average, like an average to above average quarterback, or do I need another great one? And that's where I think with Miami, it's like, oh, I'm going out and I'm getting a guy who can compete, who I think can compete with Mahomes, right? This is one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. And I think that's what Miami's calculus has to be. Is like, yeah, I'm going to give up a lot here, but I'm getting like one of the only quarterbacks who I think can go toe to toe in a playoff game with Mahomes, who I'm going to have to face on my way to the Super Bowl every single year. I think
we've seen it before, right? He was the only one. I think you mentioned it earlier with giving the Chiefs leads and stuff like that. He was one of the guys that was able to do it. So
yeah, he was. I think they were up 24-0 last year in that game.
We know what happened,
and then Bill O'Brien happened. Yeah.
The trip here. Shout out to you. Thank you for another donation. Even if Houston gets 2 first-round picks this year and a 3rd this year and 1st and 2nd next year, I do that. If I'm Miami, I trade Tua for a 1st and a 3rd. Nah, that's too much for Tua. But okay.
I'd definitely give up a 1st for Tua.
I definitely would. I mean, I'd give up both because you also get the rookie quarterback like thing. Like, so you're going to be able to pay other people.
Yeah, and you get the 5th-year option.
Yeah, you get him for 4 years essentially. Yeah. Because
I love this one. I can't wait to see what Tony's going to
do. I believe in Dwayne Haskins and he will grow with Pittsburgh. No, look, Dwayne Haskins has been the worst since he entered the league, the worst quarterback in the league. If you look at an aggregate of his completion percentage over expectation and you match that with EPA per play, there has been no worse quarterback in the league who has thrown at least 250 times than Dwayne Haskins. So, Steeler fans keep telling me, like, he's all upside. Yeah, because I don't know how he could be worse. Like, holy cow, is this guy been bad? And I get that a change of scenery, may do some things for him. But we all have to stop comparing quarterbacks to Josh Allen, because what Josh Allen did over the last couple of years is miraculous, right? He went from, like, throwing 56% completion percentage to, like, 68 or whatever it was this year. I mean, it's insane numbers. Haskins would have to do very similar things. And I know people say, oh, well, Haskins is going to be, he's going to have a better situation now, and Tomlin's a better coach, and he'll have better weapons. And that's true. But, like, he wasn't better than Alex Smith, who was, like, playing on one leg. He wasn't better than Kyle Allen, okay, who was, like, a cast-off from Carolina in Washington. So, like, yes, the supporting cast wasn't good around him, but all the other quarterbacks went into that same situation and did better. And the thing about Haskins is, he's all he is a thrower. He doesn't provide you anything as a runner, right? So it's not like he's a dual threat or anything like that. Yeah, the guy's going to come in. He's going to have to compete with Mason to be the backup at this point. They got rid of Duck, so he's lucky there because I think Duck might beat him out as well for the third spot. No, I think Haskins is a flyer. Haskins is the idea that like if Ben retires and we can't get a quarterback in the draft, then we'll ride it out for a year with Mason, and Haskins will be there to compete. The old 2 dogs, 1 bone thing. But I think Haskins is nothing other than a camp body at this point. Like the guy is just bad at football.
Yeah, he needs a attitude adjustment, meaning he needs to take the game a little bit more serious, I think, before he can, turn the corner. Now, before we address this question, I would like to see Browns fan giving me thumbs up or thumbs down on this trade. I will start with this one. I would say hell no, because right now Baker is cheaper. Baker has proven that he can run this offense. Odell Beckham Jr., you can trade him, right?
You wouldn't do this trade?
I wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't. He doesn't like Watson.
No,
you don't like Watson. You don't like Watson
because the Ravens dominated Watson. Everybody else.
No. Do
you think Quincy would do this deal? Quincy wouldn't do this deal, right?
I don't think Quincy would do it either.
I would do this deal.
So my point is,
Quincy wouldn't do this deal. I would do this deal.
I would do.
Okay, so let me rephrase this. If it is straight up, right? Straight up. Maybe, right? Like I can consider that. If Stefanski thinks Watson will be a better fit than Baker, sure, why not? My problem is I don't think this is a straight up one of those 2 for Watson. At least I don't think Houston will do that. I don't think Houston will say like, oh, those 2 for Watson. I think Houston still will want more. Okay. And I don't think you do those 2 plus draft picks for Watson. Now if you say no, we're gonna give Baker and OBJ for Watson, maybe, because I don't think Baker and OBJ work, right? I think they should get rid of one, and obviously OBJ will be the one, I think, in the offseason. But Watson works with anybody, right? Meaning he has proven any receiver he can throw to. So, and then Cleveland has the O-line, right? Which is my thing with Watson is if he doesn't have an O-line, that's what I get concerned because he does hold the ball a lot. Well, that will not be the problem in Cleveland, right? Cleveland has the O-line. So Watson is better than Baker. That's obvious for me. Right. For me, will be
Watson's better than Baker, and he provides you a dual threat as a runner. And Baker is a runner too, but not as much as Watson is. Yeah. And so you add that offense with Chubb and Hunt. Dangerous.
If it is a straight up, let me say it like this: if it is straight up, I'll take it. Like if it is a straight up, sure.
It wouldn't be though. You would have to throw picks in there.
And that is the problem. As soon as you throw picks, I'm like, nah, I'll keep mine.
For me, it comes down to this. Like I have been a Bengals fan. Andy Dalton when he was here, 5 playoffs or whatever, no playoff wins. Browns fans, do not get offended when I say this because I know Quincy's probably going to read this and be like, I got smoke for Ace and all of this. Baker Mayfield is good. The way that you guys are using him and that you're going to have to use him because if you don't, he's going to throw a lot of interceptions. You're going to have to use him like Andy Dalton. The last thing that you want is to have this great team surrounding him. And I'm talking about Bengals, I think circa 2011, 2013, around that range, where you have like the best coaches, you have an amazing line, you have all these weapons around him. But when you get into games against Pat Mahomes, it's just not the same. Like he can't go to that level. I think Baker's a good quarterback. He is not going to be Deshaun Watson, though. And what you don't want to do is get through that 5 years and feel like once Myles Garrett is out of his prime, once a lot of Denzel Ward's older and all of these guys, you're going to be like, maybe we should have just got a quarterback and we would have went to the Super Bowl and won or did something. And so if you had Deshaun Watson in that game against Pat Mahomes, I think you win the game. It's long story short. If Mahomes gets hurt and goes out, you win that game. So I'm not saying that you can't stick by Baker. He definitely deserved another chance and has pretty much shown you guys that he is your quarterback right now. But you're going to be at the crossroads where you're going to have to wonder, is he ever going to throw for 4,800 and all of these touchdowns and no interceptions? Or when you go into a game against an Aaron Rodgers or against, a Justin Herbert, and I'm not saying that Justin Herbert, obviously the Chargers weren't that good, but he's a good quarterback. When you go into those games in the playoffs, is he going to be the guy that you can say can sling with these guys? I don't think he is. So if I were offered this from the Browns, yes, I would take it because it's Haskins. Obviously, that would just be with the notion that I think I'm going to the Super Bowl if I'm making this pick.
Yeah.
You're still going to the playoffs. You're still going to be a good team with Baker, but Watson is just a guy that can give you that extra bump to get to the Super Bowl.
Tony?
Yeah, I mean, I would take the deal. You know, it's an interesting situation because you have Baker who is, you know, ascending right now, but Watson arrived, right? And I think that's the difference is, you know, we assume that Baker's going to keep growing, but you don't need to assume anything with Watson. Like, you have a guy who you can win a Super Bowl with. We know this about Deshaun Watson.
People are saying like I'm acting like Denzel is 30. What I was saying is you don't want to wait until 5-6 years from now after you've had Baker for so long and he doesn't take that next step to where he's an elite quarterback, and then Denzel Ward is 30, and then Myles Garrett is 30, and these guys are past their primes, and you miss that window that you had. That is what I'm saying. That's what happened to the Bengals. That's what happened with Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, AJ Green, and all of these guys. Yes, we had talented guys and we got there, but we never could go to that level because the quarterback position held us back. Because when you go against these other guys and the other team has the better quarterback, whether you want to believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that game if the other guy is an elite quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, someone in here is saying like, "Oh, Baker's top 10." That's fine. Baker might even if I accept the premise that Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback.
Deshaun Watson, an elite quarterback.
Deshaun Watson's the top 5.
You wouldn't say
getting a better quarterback. Yeah,
you would not say elite. You would not say Baker Mayfield is elite.
I get my problem with the trade is like how the trade was constructed for the listener. Yes, I will take that trade. Those 2 for Watson straight up, sure. The problem is that trade will not happen. That trade will be constructed more like Cleveland have to say that plus a first. Maybe another first, right? 2 firsts plus Baker or something in that.
I think it'll be one first plus Baker because Baker's very, very good. And then
OBJ. Yeah. And at that point, I think Cleveland might say, you know, let's keep. By the way, guys, don't be spamming the chat. You don't want to get in a timeout. Don't be spamming the chat. We don't care. You can.
Is Soldier Girl a Browns fan or Ravens fan?
I can never tell. I can never tell. I do like, though, Chad is starting to point out that we need to never show this video to Quincy because he is going to be.
Quincy's not taking this. And I'm not saying Baker is in top 10, but when you're talking about elite quarterbacks are like the guys that are left like right now. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't probably say Joe Burrow is elite right now. So, like, when you're talking about elite, you're talking about the top 5 guys in this league and guys that just are on a whole other level. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk here with Misfit Culture. Tony, let's not forget Haskins coming into the football team when the team was in the hectic turnaround. Tomlin, I think, will help Haskins. I didn't know Tomlin was a quarterback whisperer, but what is your take?
No, well, what he's saying here is that he's going to be in a more stable situation, right? That Washington at the time, remember Washington, all the Snyder stuff was coming out at that point. They changed all the coaching staff. It was
that's over.
What people keep telling me is that no one in that organization wanted Haskins, right? The first coaching staff didn't want him, the one that took him, and then Rivera comes in and he doesn't want him either. Even if I accept that, he's still the worst quarterback in the league. Like, yes, I agree. We could see improvement on Dwayne Haskins, and that's fine. Improvement to where, right? He's going to go from where he is as the worst to what? Below average? I mean, again, that puts you as a backup quarterback in this league. I think the ceiling for me right now with Dwayne Haskins is he could be the long-term backup.
I was going to ask.
Mason's contract is up.
Mason. Can he be better than Mason? Maybe. Mason is
better. I mean,
he could be better than Mason, sure. But Mason right now is a below-average quarterback. So
that is true. True.
Right.
The bar's not high.
Would you rather Would you rather have Haskins or Gardner Minshew?
Okay. Gardner Minshew.
I'd take Gardner Minshew too.
Yeah,
I wonder where he's going to end up at.
Gardner Minshew
is going to be the backup for Trevor Lawrence.
You think so? I mean, he's cheap.
There's too many other quarterbacks that are gonna do the whole musical chairs thing. Like, where's Gardner Minshew's not gonna end up anywhere, is he?
No, you know what?
I think he's solid though. Like, Gardner Minshew is like a mystery. He's almost like Dalton too, because it's like you look at him and you're like, this guy isn't good enough. And then like you look at the numbers, and the numbers are like, those numbers were better than I thought that I was seeing with my eyes. So he's one of those guys.
And let's talk about him, because we talk about Haskins had nothing around him. What did Gardner Minshew have around him there, right? And, that offense was tanking. They had Chark and they had James Robinson, but other than that, Like there's nothing, right? And Haskins had Antonio Gibson.
How much would it cost you, Minshew? How much would it cost you?
He's got to be cheap.
He's got to be on a rookie deal,
right?
Fifth, sixth, no, but trade wise, fifth, sixth.
No, he's more than that.
More than that. Probably like a fourth,
second,
maybe
or
third.
I think third. I think third.
Okay, so I think my opinion probably is more of fourth. And if it is the case that it's a fourth, maybe a third, late third, a team that I think should jump on Minshew is Tampa Bay, because Brady's there.
They got Josh Rosen waiting in the wait.
They got Josh Rosen and Blaine Gabbert. Apparently,
Josh Rosen is Dwayne Haskins. They're the same player.
Yeah, he is. How many teams has he been on? Oh my goodness,
he's on his third now. Haskins will be on his third by next year. So,
well, Haskins might be out of the league depending how he behaves, right? Because the problem with Haskins is also maturity issues. Like, the big thing with Rosen is you don't hear about him. And as a backup quarterback, that's what you want to hear from him. Nothing.
No, he's on the practice squad.
Rosen's on the 49ers now. Like,
he's on the Bucks. Is he on the Niners?
He was on the Bucks. He's on the Niners now.
He's on his fourth team. I mean, my goodness.
There were 10 mistakes. There were 9 mistakes picked ahead of me. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I think that's gonna be it for us, right?
I think we should wrap it up.
Guys, remember a couple things. You will see. We're gonna put, like I said, a statement saying like we're gonna take February off, the day that we're gonna come on, but you have to put that bell so you can get alerted when we come on. Our goal is to talk free agency. We're gonna go hard on free agency, and then we're gonna go hard on draft class, mock drafts, and all that. We also have a couple other things on the brewing right now, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow us, all our channels and the Twitter handle, because we will, blast them out. So make sure you follow. I'm gonna take this last super chat and then we'll just wrap it up.
Yep.
Oh, that's not the one. Here it is. If Big Ben returns, will you give up a package of picks to swap him for the rumor player like Stafford, Wentz, or someone else? Go ahead.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna have a video about this later about the whole quarterback situation. Wentz, absolutely not. I'm not trading anything for Wentz. I would potentially do the Stafford deal depending on where the salary cap lands. If the salary cap is high and the Steelers will have more cap space than they expected, then maybe I would do the Stafford deal. But it would have to be maybe for like a first or a second, but not both. That's the only way I would do it. I think Stafford is the most realistic prospect out there as far as the free agent quarterbacks. The quarterback's going to be traded that I could see ending up on the Steelers. I still think it's a very, very long shot, and I wouldn't do it unless it was very certain circumstances.
And the salary cap should be a watch, meaning that if Stafford is about 11 mil and Big Ben cutting him or retiring him, it will be like what, 20 mil hit?
Save 19, yeah.
Okay, so now you're in a 30 between both quarterbacks. So that's the big thing. I think Stafford, that's the big thing. I think Stafford will take less money. I think he wants to win. He's been losing for so long, and he is at the end of his career. At this point, he wants to be in a contender. I think he will like Indy. Big thing with Stafford is the same thing that I have the problem with Matty Ice. Could they be winning quarterbacks in elements, right? Especially in the AFC North, right? You are in the elements in cold weather. You can say, well, Stafford played Green Bay and Chicago. Yes, he went there 2 times.
In Detroit, he played in Detroit every week.
Detroit is, that's a dome. And then Minnesota's a dome. So it's not like the AFC North. Everybody's outdoors. Over there, he has to go twice to the big back elements. And obviously, he hasn't been great in that division throughout his career. So that's all I have to say. Ace, where they can find you, bro?
You guys can find me on New Stripe City. I'm going to be periodically doing some videos and stuff like that. I'm kind of doing some research now to get abreast to the draft and everything like that. But I just had a really good interview for those who are familiar with the city of Cincinnati. We just had an interview with a company called Black Owned. They actually just have a brand partnership with the Cincinnati Bengals. They've been doing some big things in the city, so it was dope to kind of connect with them and just see that their progression. Means is a cool dude. If you're interested in seeing like some of the merch or something like that, check out that. And then also, I think there's a link in the description on that video of where you can get some of that cool merch. I actually have some of it right here behind me. So if you're a Bengals fan, definitely be sure to check it out. It's officially licensed Bengals stuff. This is a partnership that they've been doing. He actually also spoke about Joe Burrow doing some cool things with them as well. So if you're looking for that, check it out. And if you're looking for any insight on what the Bengals may be doing this offseason, you can catch it there. We also have some special things coming in the future, which, like Sonny said, there will be a statement on those kind of things. But you can subscribe to me at New Stripe City. And, of course, be sure to subscribe here because you don't want to lose this. I know you guys are going to be looking for us. So please, right now, drop everything you're doing. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button because as soon as we come back, and you know it's coming because you know Quincy is going to want that smoke. And he's going to be like, what did you say about a month ago about Baker? Be sure to hit that subscribe button. You can also find me on Twitter at New Stripe City.
Tony.
You can find me on Twitter at Steeler Country. You can find me on Locked On Steelers every Tuesday with my friend Chris Carter. You can find me here, of course, Tuesdays, 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. Like they said, we're going to be off for the month of February, but we'll be back in March. So make sure you're subscribed here. Hit the notification bell. You also find me now. I have a new YouTube channel, couple videos already out. Search Steeler Country with Tony Serino. Actually, just search my name, Tony Serino. I think the channel will come up. Yeah, search for that. Subscribe there. I'll have a new video about Matt Canada and what you can expect from his offense coming out later tonight.
Yeah, and SCU Sport, all social media platforms, also my YouTube channel. I'll be pushing a lot of videos for the draft. So a lot of prospect scouting and all that. That guys, when we say we're gonna take a month off, it's just the AFC North Talk. All channels, including Quincy's, all channels will be having content. Quincy, you can find Quincy Carrier on YouTube. Quincy with KWEN for Twitter. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you have a great night. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, guys.
Have you ever
Are you listening? Damn.
and the ball is